There are battles that no one sees, battles that happen behind a smile, behind a normal routine, behind tired eyes. And perhaps, the worst of them is the one fought within the mind itself. Today, I'm going to tell you a story about a man who was almost swallowed by his own thoughts. Almost. Because sometimes, a moment of clarity is enough to turn the game around. His name was Jimmy. And lately, Jimmy felt that something was wrong with the world, or with him. During the day, everything seemed normal. But when night arrived, his mind would begin to close, like doors being locked one by one. First came the soft voice. "You didn't do enough today." Then another, firmer. "You won't make it tomorrow." And then, inevitably, the heaviest voice, the one that always seemed to be right. "You are the problem." Jimmy tried to ignore it, but it was no longer just a thought. It was an attack. And every night the same scene repeated itself. One night, while walking back home, Jimmy noticed that the road seemed different. The sky was heavy, as if it was about to collapse. The air seemed denser, and slowly, the shadows began to move. It wasn't imagination. They dragged themselves across the ground, twisted, restless, hungry. And every time a negative thought arose, a shadow took form, as if it was being fed. "You failed." The shadows thickened. "You'll never be enough." They rose up, deformed, sinuous. "Give up. This will go wrong, like always." Jimmy began to run. But the more he ran, the closer the shadows came, until he realized those creatures had the same pace as him, the same footsteps, the same breathing. They weren't external monsters. They were shadows created within him. At the height of despair, Jimmy stumbled and fell into a dark clearing. And there, sitting in absolute silence, was an old man. Without lifting his head, the old man said, "You run fast, but not fast enough to escape yourself." Jimmy was startled. "Did you see that? The shadows, they're chasing me." The old man smiled gently. "They're not following you. You're the one dragging them." Jimmy looked at the shadows, getting closer and closer, surrounding the clearing. "I can't fight them," he said. The old man shook his head slowly. "Fight? That's the mistake. When you fight your thoughts, they gain strength. You need to do the opposite. Observe." "Close your eyes," said the old man. Jimmy hesitated, but obeyed. "Tell me what the thought is now." Jimmy swallowed hard. "I am a failure." "Good. Now observe it as if someone else were saying it. Without running, without trying to silence it, just see it." Jimmy did this. For the first time, he didn't run. Something changed. The thought was there, but it seemed less solid, less absolute, as if it were just a loose phrase in the air. "That's how it begins," said the old man. "When you observe and don't obey, the thought loses power. Open your eyes." Jimmy obeyed. The shadows were weaker, trembling in the distance. "And now, what do I do?" he asked. "Now you respond. Not with force, not with anger, but with simple truth." "But wouldn't that seem like a lie?" Jimmy was curious. The old man smiled. "Everything in the mind is a story. Choose the one that takes you forward." Then Jimmy heard from the old man words he had never heard from himself. "This is just a thought. I can choose another." He repeated slowly, "This is just a thought. I can choose another." Something cracked in the air. One of the shadows exploded into gray dust. The old man smiled. "See? The mind believes what you repeat. If you always feed the darkness grows. But if you start to light small flames, soon your path is clear." Jimmy thanked him for the advice and returned to the road. The shadows were still there. One of them advanced and whispered, "You'll fail again." Jimmy waited for fear to come. But this time, he took a deep breath and said, "That's just a thought." The shadow screamed, twisted, and dissolved like smoke in the wind. Another emerged, saying, "You are nothing." He replied, "I don't need to believe you." The shadow split in two and disappeared. With each step, Jimmy realized something. The shadows weren't monsters. They were echoes. Echoes that he was finally leaving behind. We all carry shadows. We all have thoughts that try to drag us back to the darkness. But thoughts are not prophecies. They are not sentences. They do not define who we are. They are just shadows. And the light that dispels the shadows is born in the moment you realize that the negative thought is just that, a thought. And that, with each step, you can choose another and another and another. Thank you for hearing Jimmy's story. I wish that, from now on, your shadows lose a little of their power and your path gains a little more light. It takes just one simple act. Perceive, recognize, and choose another thought. Your story matters. Your thoughts matter. And your choice matters most of all.